Hello everyone, thank you for watching this video. In this video, we are going to talk about 3 disturbing stories from Reddit users. Let's get going. If the time stops at 1:09 AM, roll over and pray that they think you're asleep. The title basically says it all. If you're wondering who they are, well, that's the strange part. It's your family or roommate or whatever. I've never heard of this happening before, so I'm not sure what I can really do about it. Other than pretend I'm sleeping, of course. That's the only thing that really seems to keep them docile. Let me explain what's been happening in a little more detail. This has been going on for the past 3 nights now. I didn't really think much of it the first night, because I honestly thought my family was pulling some prank on me. That is, until last night, when I was attacked by my wife. The first night was a pretty early night for my wife, Kelsey, and my twin boys, Eric and Erin. All of us were out cold by 9 PM. We had a pretty long day of splitting wood to stock up for the upcoming winter. That night I woke up to an odd silence in the house. Like everyone had left and I was alone in the house. I grabbed my phone and checked the time, 1:09 AM. I rolled over just to check if my wife was still sleeping, and when I found the bed empty, I sat up and looked around. The house was pitch black other than the hall light by my boys' room we left on, and with that dim light I could see 3 shadows cast along the hallway wall as my bedroom was left open. "Kelsey!" I groggily called out. I could see all 3 shadows twitch at the sound of my voice, like they were startled. "Kels!" I called a little louder. This time a shiver was sent down my spine as all 3 heads of the shadows looked in my direction. "What the fuck?" I whispered to myself, tossing the blankets off from me as I got up to investigate. I tiptoed to my door with a feeling of unease growing in the pit of my stomach. Once I got to the door, I peeked around and was pretty creeped out at what I saw. Kelsey and the boys were standing still, as statues with their bodies turned towards the boys' room, their necks however strained to stare directly at me. Huge smiles that looked painful to maintain plastered on all of their faces. "What the hell are you guys doing?" I asked with a chuckle, thinking they were playing a joke on me. Now that I think back, it didn't make much sense thinking they were joking. After all, why would they get up in middle of the night for that, with no guarantee I'd even wake up? Their bodies made an unnatural twitch at the sound of my voice, which made me jump back in surprise. This was when I really started to think something might be wrong. A feeling of dread washed over me and I began to sweat. Then the sound of the clock on the microwave beeping as if it reset rang through the house, made me jump in the air as I let out a startled yelp. My boys turned instantly and walked back into their room, Kelsey doing the same. Her smile disappeared and she walked by me like a zombie and crawled back in her bed, snoring as if she was sleeping the whole time. Confused as hell, I walked back to my side of the bed and checked the time on my phone. "What the?" I said to myself as I noticed the time. 1:10 AM. No way, only a minute had passed since I first woke up. It had to have been at a very minimum of 5 minutes. Still though, I shook it off and got back into bed, deciding to bring it up to Kelsey in the morning. The next morning I woke up and everything was back to normal. I could hear the boys playing in the living room and smelled bacon and eggs as Kelsey cooked breakfast. I got up and walked out with a smile as I remembered their little joke from the night before. "Good morning, pranksters," I said with a laugh. They all stared at me with a confused look on their faces. "Huh," my wife finally said. "Last night? All of you standing in the hallway smiling at me? Gotta admit, it was a good one. Creeped me out a little bit," I said, shaking my head. "Ryan, don't even joke like that. You know those creepy smiling people stories freak me out," Kelsey scolded. "Hey, you're the one trying to freak me out in the middle of the night." I laughed. "By the way, how in the hell did you get the phones to stop time at 1:09? That was a good touch." My whole family was looking at me like I was a nut job. Then simultaneously they all started shouting it wasn't funny and that I was scaring them. I was bewildered. I didn't know if they were still in on the joke or if somehow they had all been sleepwalking. That wouldn't explain the time, though. Okay, I shouted. I must have been having a damn dream, Jesus Christ. Don't freak out on me, damn. I turned and walked back into the room, more confused than ever. I knew I wasn't dreaming. Were they this serious about their little prank, or did they really not remember? Either way, I figured I'd settle it that night. I'd simply record them with my phone if they tried it again. That'd ruin their little joke pretty quick. Satisfied with my plan, I went about my day. The boys helped split and stack more wood, while Kelsey did some running in town. Before I knew it, it was night time again, and we were all in bed. I made sure to have my phone charged and right next to me, ready to catch them in the act. Once again, I woke up hours later. That same eerie silence filled the house. This time, my adrenaline started pumping, as the feeling of dread hit me like a ton of bricks. I grabbed my phone and lit the screen up. 1:09 a.m. I tried to switch it to record, but my phone was frozen. Fuck, a whisper yelled. I looked over to the wall and seen the same shadows as the night before. This time, a little closer. My blood ran cold as I noticed out of the corner of my eye that the TV was left on, but the picture was froze. It seemed all electronics were froze or something, adding to the creepy feeling that engulfed my body. I got up once again and tiptoed to the door. I peeked my head around and had to cover my mouth to stifle a yelp. Kelsey and the boys were standing facing me directly this time, only somehow their smiles even bigger than before. Now that they were a good 5 feet closer, I could see just how wide open and bloodshot their eyes were. When I moved my hand to cover my mouth, all three of them took a giant step forward. Naturally, I took a step back. They mimicked with another huge step forward. This time, since Kelsey was bigger than the boy, she stepped ahead. She was now maybe 3 to 5 feet away, her eyes opening even wider, as she looked extremely excited. I turned around to jump back in bed, and as I did so, I heard loud booming as they gave chase. I felt huge blows hit my back, far harder than any of them should be able to inflict. "What the fuck, ow?" I shouted, as my back ached from the impact. I was now in bed, and I yanked the covers over my head. Childish, I know, but hey, I wasn't about to strike my wife. Thankfully, as I laid still, the blows stopped, and I heard heavy breathing from what I assumed was Kelsey, only it sounded way too deep and raspy. Then the breathing stopped altogether, and silence filled the room. "I know you're not asleep." She whispered so fast I barely made out what she said. Just then, the beeping of the microwave filled the house and the TV resumed. I heard the sound of soft footsteps leave the room as the boys went back to their rooms, followed by pressure next to me in bed as Kelsey climbed back under the covers. I quickly grabbed my phone and checked the time, 1:10 a.m. This didn't make any fucking sense. I did my best to go back to sleep, but needless to say, I didn't sleep much. I tossed and turned as I tried to figure out what in the hell was happening. I tried to figure out what steps to take next. The only thing I could think of was to pretend I was asleep next time, since my lack of movement seemed to stop the blows. If they thought I was asleep altogether, maybe they'd just stand creepily in the hallway. It was worth a shot, I guess. I'll update tomorrow and let you guys know how last night went for me. It was still extremely scary, but hey, I didn't get attacked, so that's a start, right? I've got another plan for tonight too, but I'll just put that in the update tomorrow. Wish me luck, and if anyone's got any ideas as what to do, here please, feel free to help. Unfortunately, the author did not continue this story. He did not publish anything else at all. I think he just didn't live through the next night. Too bad for him. I've been trying to leave my bathroom for the past 30 minutes. I can't leave my bathroom. About 30 minutes ago, I got out of the shower and dried off, put on my PJs, opened the door and walked out, only to find myself back in my bathroom, staring at the closed door. I stopped and tried to rationalize what had just happened to me. I convinced myself that I had simply imagined that I had opened the door and stepped out, so I tried again. I pushed the door handle down, opened it, stepped out, and yet again found myself in my bathroom, standing in front of a closed door. This has happened every single time I've tried to leave. I keep my phone in the bathroom with me when I'm showering. I live alone, so I keep it with me just in case, for safety. The first thing I did was call my parents. My dad didn't pick up, but my mum did. I tried to explain the situation to her, but she couldn't seem to understand how I was trapped in my bathroom if the door could open. She seemed convinced that I must mean that my bathroom door's lock was broken and I was trapped inside. Regardless, she said that she would be over ASAP. She only lives a 15-minute drive away, so she should be here any moment. I'm sat leaning against my bathtub, looking out the open bathroom door into my landing. I opened it this time but didn't try to step out. Everything looks normal. My bedroom door is closed just as I left it. The airing cupboard door closed as well, the stairs leading down to the hallway, and the front door. All normal. The door's shut. I don't have any recollection of how it's shut when it's shut. Only that it must have happened in the last few seconds after I wrote that last paragraph. I've just reread that paragraph. It's a proof that I'm not going crazy and imagining this. My mum just texted me to ask if I'm in the house. I said yes, of course I am. I'm trapped in the bathroom. That's the whole reason that I called you here. This is what she has sent. Mum, why aren't you saying anything? Me. What do you mean, Mum? Are you even in there? Me. Yes, I'm in here. Are you here? Mum. I'm outside the bathroom door. I've been calling your name. I don't understand. I can't hear anything through the door. I'm going to open it. I can see my landing, my stairs, my front door, but no Mum. I tried to walk out, but it was fruitless. Back staring at the closed bathroom door. My mum tried the handle of the door from her side, but it won't open. She brought tools to unscrew the lock. She says she's doing it now, but I can't hear anything and I can't see the handle moving. Okay, Mum texted me to say the lock is taken out, but the door still won't open on her side. She looked through the circular hole in the door where the lock was, but just saw my bathroom. Empty. There's no hole on my side of the door. The handle and lock are intact. I have no idea what's happening or how I can get out. After much convincing my mum that I'm in fact in here, she said she is calling someone to possibly knock the door down. I'm worried that once they do that, they will find an empty bathroom, and yet I will still be here, trapped in my bathroom. There's no plug sockets in here, never mind my phone charger. My phone will die at some point. I'm already on 24%. When it runs out, I might lose my only point of contact with the rest of the world. I don't know what to do. Mum's left now to get help. I'm sat wondering what I can do. I tried to break the door down myself. I knew it wouldn't work, but I had to try. I remember reading once on Reddit that you shouldn't use your shoulder. You should try to kick the door by the lock because it's the weak point. It didn't work. I'm not sure any part of this door has a weak point now. The window is small, and I'm not sure if I'd actually be able to fit out of it. Scratch that, the window won't open either. There are locks on the windows in my house. You can lock them with a little key, but I never received any when I moved in, so I've never been able to lock them. It's locked now, though. It's got one of those white plastic cheap blinds covering it. I ended up ripping it down. It's pulled some plaster down with it, but now I can get at the window better. It's straight above the toilet, so I am kneeling on top of the toilet lid, yanking at the window handle. It won't... Wait, it opened. I didn't notice how dark it was outside. It shouldn't be dark, it's midday. I looked around, desperately trying to see anyone. No one's around, everything looks kind of muted. I can't describe it. Nor can I describe the deep-seated feeling of dread and wrongness as I look out into my neighborhood. My instincts are telling me not to, but I stick my head out to look down to where I could possibly drop to. My window's closed. I never felt myself move, but my window's closed. Even the fucking plastic blind is back in place. I'm sat on the floor now, as far away from the window and door as I can get. I feel sick. Mum came back, along with her work friend. He helped her unscrew the hinges and remove the door. I'm not in there. They can't see me. My mum sent a photo of her inside the bathroom, with no me. She thinks this has all been a joke and is refusing to reply to my texts or answer my calls. I'm on 14% battery. I don't know if I will ever get to leave. This might be my only chance to say goodbye to my mum, but she won't answer her phone. Edit. I've ripped down the shower curtain, and yet I'm staring at it right now, hung up, hanging over the side of my bath. I looked out the window again. I think I heard a rumbling. Low, quiet rumbling. I haven't opened the window since. My phone's on 1%. If I get out, I will update this post. If no edit comes, assume I'm still here. Unfortunately, I couldn't find anything about this story either. And I think it's still there. Everyone says I had a baby. I started to go along with it. My neighbour brought over some baby shoes the other day. They were pink and had glitter on the toes and sequined flowers on the sides. We cooed over them for a few minutes, and I told her how much I appreciated the gift. After she left, I threw them in my bedroom closet with all the other baby junk I've been given over the past 6 months. 6 months ago, everyone in town started to ask about my baby. I do not have a baby, I've never given birth or even been pregnant. I thought that I was being mistaken for someone else. I'm not particularly unique looking. Maybe some other short, dark-haired and hazel-eyed girl gave birth recently. But I am shy by nature and southern by birth, so I was too polite to say, "You're wrong. You have the wrong person. I don't have a baby." I said things like, oh, okay. Mostly because it must have been a case of mistaken identity. People brought over baby clothes, a crib, a swing that plugs into the wall and jiggles, toys and shoes and diapers. A very weird situation to be in, for sure. But then, to put it plainly, things got weirder. I was in the grocery store, and the manager, a friendly older man, came up to me and asked about my sweet little girl. He asked if she liked the different formula he had suggested, and if I wanted more. I just smiled. When I got home, I found formula in my grocery bags and an almost empty can in my cabinet. I don't even remember putting it in my cart. What? The thing is, everyone has been so nice to me, and the situation is just so odd that I started to go along with it. "How's the little darling today?" a neighbour would ask when I went to get the mail. "Oh, she's wonderful. Sleeping through the night," I'd answer. Then a young woman that got coffee at the same place as me asked about a play date with her 9-month-old and my then 5-month-old. I sort of blew it off. Next time I saw her, though, she talked about setting up another play date and how much fun our two darlings had. She showed me a picture on her phone. Aren't they just precious in this picture? Your little girl has the most beautiful blue eyes. Her dress really makes them pop. I'll text this to you. I looked at the picture and saw a chubby baby in a red shirt and blue shorts. It had dark hair and dark eyes. It was the only baby in the picture. I went home and opened my bedroom closet full of baby junk. I pulled out teddy bears and an unopened box with a changing table in it. I pulled out a shopping bag with new baby clothes. I dumped it out on my bed and looked through them. I found a light blue dress. A few weeks ago, I decided to call my mum. "Hello?" She answered. "Mum, it's me," I said. "Oh, Pearl, hi." "How are you?" I asked. "We don't talk often." "I'm good. We're all good out here." She paused, then asked, "And how are you two doing?" "Us too?" I asked hesitantly. "Now don't act like that. I know I haven't been in touch much, but I do care about you and my grandbaby," she said sourly. "I know, Mum." "Oh, she's crying. I gotta go," I lied. "Give Holly my love," she said, and then hung up before I did. The funny thing is, Breakfast at Tiffany's has been my favourite book since I was a kid. I'd always thought Holly would be a great name for a kid I would eventually have. I went into my room to put my phone down after my short conversation with my mum. The changing table and the crib were neatly set up by the window. I didn't do that. I'm sure I didn't. I walked over to the crib and looked inside. Nothing was there. I walked over to the changing table, then took a step back before I bumped my shin against one of the legs, because I remembered that I had done that before. I looked down and saw a bruise on my shin. I know I hit it against the changing table, but I also know that they weren't in here before. I know it. How's Holly today? My neighbour across the street asked. We were both out grabbing our mail. She's good happy as ever, I said. I heard her screaming up a storm when you came home last night. I'd be surprised if you were able to get her to bed at all. Once she lays down, it usually doesn't take too long, I replied. I went inside and looked through my mail. A bunch of junk. A few red envelopes. I put everything down on the kitchen counter and opened a cabinet to get out a cup. I heard some noises coming from my room. I paused and listened. I didn't hear anything for a minute, so I grabbed the cup and got some water from the sink. I heard something over the sound of the tap. Holly must be awake. I went into my room and looked down in the crib. Holly's stuffed elephant was in the crib. I reached down and picked it up. It was cute, no wonder someone got it for Holly. I put the elephant back down in the crib and brought the cup to my mouth to take a sip. I realised I was holding a baby bottle. Mum brain, I thought. Where did I put my cup down? But then I saw I was holding my cup. And I'm not a mum. What the fuck was I just thinking? I looked back over at the crib. Why do I still have this crap in my room? I kicked the crib. Then I kicked it again. Then again, until the wood began to splinter. I pushed the changing table over on its side. I opened my closet and shoved in the pieces of the crib and any other baby-related item I could find. I slammed the door closed. I can't keep this charade up, I decided. I can't go along with this nonsense anymore. I went to get coffee this morning. I was so tired. I felt like I hadn't slept all night. The barista smiled at me. Your kid keep you up? She asked. No, I said firmly. Her smile wavered. I sat down at a table to drink my coffee. Some woman walked up to me. She asked how I was doing, how my daughter was doing. I'm fine, I answered, and left it at that. She sat down at the table and, in a hushed and concerned voice, she asked me if I was experiencing any depression. She said that new mothers often feel like this. I'm not a new mother, I said. A man came in and walked quickly up to the table. He bent down and whispered something in my ear. It didn't register at first. What? I asked. You left your kid in her car seat in your car, he said again. I jumped up and ran outside. I unlocked my car and opened the back seat. How could I be so stupid? How fucked up am I to leave my kid in the car? But nothing was there. No kid, no car seat. I drove home. I sat on my bed and looked through the pictures on my phone. I looked at the picture of the chubby kid in the red shirt. I stared at it. Where is she? Where is the Holly? There's only one kid in this picture, but everyone else says that there are two. Chubbs and my little Holly. Bright blue eyes, blue dress. She does look so pretty in that blue dress. I do have a bit more to write, but Holly just started to cry. I need to go check on her. And that's it, guys. That's the end of our 3 disturbing stories. Hope you enjoyed it all. Give us a like and thank you all.